am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? I'm trying to not look atrociously pale, but it's not really working out, is it? Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna be doing a little bit of a different video, weird video. I don't really know what category this video fits in, but today I'm gonna be talking about the time I got my wisdom tooth taken out and my experience with it. And before I start telling the actual story of everything that happened, I want to make a couple disclaimers about everything that I'm going to say today. Also, I need to fix how I'm sitting. So first off, there we go. I'm not trying to scare anybody with anything that I talk about in this video. I am going to be talking about stuff that went wrong with my surgery, and surgery is really scary even when it is like just getting your wisdom teeth taken out. And I'm definitely not trying to make anybody scared that something's gonna go wrong if and when they get their wisdom teeth taken out. I simply just want to tell my experiences. And on that note, I'm also not trying to slander or offend the surgeons that I had and the place of surgery that I went to. Again, just trying to share my experiences, and I'm not going to say the names of any of my surgeons or anything because there's no reason to. And third thing, I'm not going to talk about anything like gory or gross or anything. However, I am going to put in trigger warnings for anxiety, panic attacks, and vomiting, and I guess general surgery. But you clicked on a video called my getting my wisdom teeth taken out story or whatever, so you did this to yourself is what I'm trying to say. I am going to talk a lot about anxiety and panic attacks and throwing up. So if any of those things bother you, I'm going to try to put timestamps in the description of where those things are, so you can either skip it so you can watch the rest of the video, or just don't watch it all, because I would not want anyone to get sent into like an anxiety attack because of watching my video about my wisdom teeth. So with all of that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with the actual story. So I'm gonna start this story with when I was getting my braces, and this was back when I was around age 14, 15. I had braces for 11 months and I got them off when I was 15, but when I was getting my consultations for my braces, they had to do like x-rays and stuff, and the first day I went into my orthodontist, he said 3 things to me. First thing he said was, your teeth are awful, you need braces. Second thing he said was, your jaw's fucked up. Okay, you're gonna need jaw surgery at some point in your life. And I was like 14-year-old me is being told that I need jaw surgery. Hello? Like, that's terrifying. Still haven't gotten that jaw surgery, but I probably should get it because my jaws really are like they hurt all the time. It's probably an issue. And then the third thing that he said to me was, you should plan on getting your wisdom teeth taken out as soon as you get your braces off. So like, I think he said like when you're 16 you should start thinking about it, because like age 16 is like a good time to get them out, I think. Guess what I didn't do? Get them out. I stalled for about 2 years before I actually got my wisdom teeth taken out, or at least started getting the consultations to get them out. I waited until June of 2018 to actually go to consults and get stuff scheduled. I wanted to get it done in, I want to say like December of 2017. The scheduling and timing didn't really work out. I wanted to get it done over my winter break, but that didn't happen, clearly. I started going to my consults and stuff with my surgeon, my like first meetings and everything, and I only had one appointment before I scheduled my surgery. My first consult, I believe, actually might have been in May of 2018, and I went with my dad to the office, and we go to the office. First thing I see in the lobby is a signed picture of Donald Trump on the wall, so I was already getting some bad vibes. You know, everyone that worked there was nice, but I was just kind of like, I had to get some x-rays done. They were like, you know, do you have any like piercings? Do you have braces? Do you have retainers? You know, like what's the situation on your face? And at that point I did not have my nose piercing or my cartilage piercing, the two that I can't take out, I just had my double ears pierced. I was like, well, I don't have braces, I have retainers. And she was like, oh, are they the kind that you can take out? And I was like, clearly those aren't the ones that I'm talking about, because do you see your retainers on here right now? Yeah, no, they're the ones I can't take out. Sorry, I'm being so rude right now. I gotta stop. Yeah, so she asked me all that stuff because you're not supposed to have like any metal on you when you're getting surgery done. But there's nothing I can do about the metal stuck to the back of my teeth from when I had braces. Like, that's just how it is. Surgeon comes into the room after I get all my x-rays. He's a really nice guy. He's, really calm, personable, trying to make the situation like really normal, and like that's cool. And that made me feel a little bit better about everything that was going on. And then he tells me, like, you have all 4 of your wisdoms, which is very normal. It's even normal to have more than 4. She was like, you have all 4 of them, and 2 of them are growing in one way, 2 are growing in the other, so we have to do like 2 different kinds of extraction, which is like also very normal. I think 2 of them were growing like straight in, and 2 of them were going in at an angle or something like that, which is very normal, not a big deal. So I was like, okay, whatever, we're just gonna get teeth pulled out of my head. He also told me that I was gonna be going under complete general anesthesia, which is also very normal nowadays. One thing I was most nervous about when I was told that I had to get my wisdoms taken out was that I was gonna be on the laughing gas, because this is gonna sound so stupid. I was nervous because I didn't want my mom to record anything I said and embarrass me, because me as a person, I'm a very, very anxious person, and I'm very, very afraid of being like publicly embarrassed, because one of my biggest anxiety triggers is like failure and stuff of any kind. And I feel like if something like that is like posted on Facebook and like people laugh at me, but like I'm so like embarrassed to my core, like I feel like I've failed as a person because I said such stupid stuff. It literally doesn't make any sense at all, but that's how I am. And so I was relieved when I was told that I was going under general anesthesia, which sounds so stupid to me right now that I'm even talking about it, but like it's true, and that's how I felt. So there's that. Fast forward to July 5th, 2018, which was my surgery day. I think I had one follow-up appointment after my consultation where they just made sure everything was ready. They gave me like the information sheet of everything that I had to do before the surgery, which was the basics, like don't eat. I think it was 8 hours before the surgery, and my surgery was at like 10 in the morning, so it wasn't a big deal to not eat because I probably wouldn't even eat. English is hard. I probably wouldn't have even eaten anything until like 10 or so anyway during the day, so normal. And then I had a lot of specifications for what I had to wear for the surgery. I had to wear a t-shirt, and then they said wear like a flannel or something over it because you're going to be really cold when you wake up from surgery. But I just couldn't wear anything like bulky, and I couldn't wear like spaghetti straps. I couldn't wear that all makes a lot of sense. And I had to wear long pants down to my ankles, so I think I wore leggings. That's all I ever wear anyway. And then I had to wear closed-toed shoes. And then because I have this mop on my head, I had to pull my hair back with a headband and then into a ponytail so it wouldn't get in their way. And I also couldn't wear my glasses. I had to take all my piercings out, which all that makes complete sense. No jewelry, no anything like that. Now, I have a bruise on my foot and I keep kicking it and it really hurts. Anyway, I get there, I'm ready to go. And they take me back to the room at whatever it was, 10:30, whatever it might have been. They take me back to the room. They sit me in the chair, and I'm just kind of chilling in there by myself. I don't even know what to call her, if she was a nurse or if she was like a surgeon assistant. I don't know what her title was. So lady comes in, and she's like, "Oh, surgeon will be in a few minutes." And she's like, "Well, while we wait, I'm gonna hook up your IV." Which was actually very easy. I was actually really scared about this because I've heard a lot of horror stories about people having to get pricked and prodded 15 times before their IV went in, but I guess I have good veins, so that's good. She was like, okay, arms straight out. So I had both my arms straight out on the chair like this, and make a fist. She put it in. Easy peasy. And then she told me after that that's how I was getting part of my anesthesia, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. Am I gonna like pass out or something? And she was like, no, we have to give you the rest of it before it works. I was like, okay, cool. So, I'm sitting there with this IV, and she's just like off doing whatever. I'm like staring at the ceiling, and all of a sudden like 10 people flood into the room. And I'm like, oh, hello. And they're like, okay, put your head back on the seat, and then they put this like tube thing in my nose and around the back of my head, and they're like, that's the anesthesia. You're probably gonna get really tired in about like 2 minutes. And originally I was told that the anesthesia took like 15 minutes to kick in, and it definitely didn't. It took about a minute and a half before I just went out cold. I didn't even realize that I had fallen asleep. One of the most surreal experiences of all of this was right when I was like kind of like fading in and out. All of the surgeons and the surgery assistants, nurses, whoever was in the room, they were just like having a conversation and like telling jokes and talking about their day, and I'm literally like about to pass out in this chair, about to get teeth taken out of my mouth, and they're just like chilling. That was so strange for me to experience, and I very vividly remember that, even though I was like barely there as a person. The anesthesia was like not bad. It wasn't scary at all, and I felt like I was asleep for about a minute before I woke up and the surgery was over. This is probably the scariest part of the whole thing, the next like couple minutes of this story. So fair warning, it's not pretty. I wake up, first thing, everything's blurry and I can barely keep my eyes open. So like I'm sitting there on this chair like this, and all of a sudden I can't breathe, which was really cool. I couldn't breathe because I had cotton in my mouth, so imagine that, but like there's big hunks of cotton all the way back here. And I felt like I was like swallowing the cotton, and it was stuck in my throat. And so I was like actually like choking. It was technically all like an illusion, like I wasn't choking on it, but I felt like I was because it was so far back in my throat. And so for a solid like couple minutes I felt like I was choking and I couldn't breathe, and it was terrifying. It was really terrifying. And I also couldn't see anything because again I didn't have my glasses on, and I was also still very groggy from all the anesthesia. And the lady that was in the room, whoever she might have been, was trying to help me like figure out how to breathe again, because I could not breathe at all. Then she helped me sit up on the chair. She helped me stand up too, and I almost fell over because I couldn't see. I was still extremely groggy, and I was in so much pain. It was awful. And she helped me like shuffle out to the like little waiting area where the exit door was for the people who had gotten surgery. She helped me shuffle over there, and I kept running into things. Like, it was awful. I was taken to this little like room. Where there was a seat for me and then like a seat for my parent who was there, which was my mom. I sat there for a few minutes, and like I literally just like slumped like this, and I was just like looking around. I still could barely see, by the way, because I still didn't have my glasses, and I was in so much pain and I couldn't move or feel. I think it was from like here down, so I was like and it was it's so weird to not be in control of like anything that's going on. And then my mom comes back, and I sit there for another minute, and I'm still like all while this is happening I'm still trying to catch my breath, because like I couldn't breathe for like a solid couple minutes. And then the surgeon comes over, gives my mom a couple of prescriptions that we need to go fill, and then he's like, get some food into her body as soon as possible, because I hadn't eaten. And he also said we had some complications with the surgery, and it took a lot longer than usual, but we got it done. She's gonna be fine. And when I heard that, I was like, oh shit. This recovery is going to be absolutely horrible. We get out to the car, I stumble out to the car, and I'm sitting there, and I just recline the seat all the way back. Like, I am laying down, I'm ready to take a nap. I was just in so much pain, and my mom has to drive to Kroger to get my prescription filled for my high-strength Advil that they prescribed me for, and also codeine, I don't even know how to say it, but painkiller 1 and painkiller 2, basically. Before we got there, she went through Wendy's for me, because I was like, I want a Frosty. I can't eat solid food, but I'm starving and my mouth hurts and I want a Frosty. So she got me a Frosty. The minute I tried to eat it, I literally couldn't open my mouth. I couldn't move it, and so I just didn't eat it. And it was 1:30 or so at this point. No, that's not true. It was probably like noon or so. Couldn't eat it. So I was just sitting there in the car, and I took a really, really cursed image of me right after the surgery, and I'll try to insert it. Yeah, so that's what I looked like right after I got out of surgery. That was when my mom was in Kroger filling my prescription. And then we got home. I had to be helped up the stairs and into my bed because I had my glasses on at this point, but I still was like so extremely groggy and in so much pain. And my mom tried to give me one of the Advils, and she also tried to give me some applesauce, and I could barely swallow. That's how much pain I was in. And I did take the Advil. It was crushed up into applesauce, but like I was eating it and I just started crying because it was hurting so bad. I don't think I was full on sobbing yet, but I was crying. About 20 minutes after that, I was just sitting in my bed and I threw up. I just threw up. And I hadn't even eaten anything, so I basically just threw up like whatever the Advil was. For most of my recovery, I associated the high-strength Advil with throwing up, so I like never took any of it. And that might have been why my recovery was so painful. I didn't take a lot of Advil until like 4 days into my recovery, but I associated it with throwing up. I thought it made me sick, and so I didn't take it. After I threw up, I texted my parents and I was like, I just threw up, I don't know what's going on. And then I got up to go to the bathroom. I came back in and my parents came in to check on me, and they're like, are you okay? I was like, no, I'm not okay. I'm in so much pain. And I couldn't talk. Also, I don't think I mentioned that I couldn't talk after the surgery either. I was sitting in my desk chair, and I remember my bedroom door was open. My parents were outside in the living room, I think, talking, and I just felt myself get really hot. This is where I'm going to talk about the anxiety attacks and stuff. If you want to skip past this, go ahead. I felt myself getting really hot, and I couldn't breathe again, but it was different than the first time. Couldn't breathe. And I had an anxiety attack for the first time in years. I'd never get like panic attacks. Like this was like a full-on like hyperventilating, like I was rocking, I was shaking, like heart palpitating, all that. It happened, and that was the first time that has happened to me since I was 13 or 14. And it was absolutely terrifying. I don't know what caused it per se. It was probably the combination of everything that was going on at the time, but it happened. I didn't eat anything that entire day. I don't even know if I drank water, but I took one of the codeine pills, or the oxycodone pills. Oxy. I took one, and I just passed out after I took it. The next day, I was still in so much pain, and I don't think I was in the worst pain until like day 3, but the day after my surgery, I woke up, my entire face was swollen, and I'm gonna try to put in a picture that I have. I don't know if it's from the second day, it might be from the 3rd day, or maybe the 4th day, and I don't have any good pictures of it, but imagine that, but also under here, and like here was like puffed out to here probably, and like this was completely swollen, and I could barely move my face. My face felt like it was exploding at the seams. Like it felt like at any minute my cheeks could bust open and I would just like a giant blister. Imagine a huge blister on your face, popping it. It felt like it was like stretching my skin and it was about to pop everywhere. That's really disgusting, but that's really how it felt, and it was absolutely awful. And I could barely sleep. Like I could barely normally sleep like without medicine, and I still couldn't talk. One thing I forgot to mention was that I have I had to do like a very specific recovery routine with saltwater rinses and hydrogen peroxide rinses, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But I still could barely eat anything. I think I was able to stomach some applesauce at this point, and I don't think I got out of bed the entire day except to go to the bathroom. I was just like, this hurts like a bitch. I don't know what is wrong, but it should not hurt as much as it does. This was the point that I noticed that my face was still numb after the surgery, which I understood why, but it was only this part of my face that was still numb. Like, this part was completely fine at this point, like numbness wise. Obviously I was like, you know, but that was the point that I was like, hey, like, this is not correct, I don't think, but like, we'll see if it just takes a minute, because they said that my surgery had some complications, so maybe they had to use extra numbing stuff. I don't really know. So the healing process I had to do 4 different rinses every day, or 4 sets of rinses every day. So I had to make a hot salt water rinse that I had to rinse in my mouth for a minute, spit it out 4 times a day, and then I had to do a hydrogen peroxide rinse, I believe, for 30 seconds 4 times a day. I vomited from those so many times, or like, not full on like, but like I gagged. Because 1, it was painful, and 2, it tasted like if you imagine literally drinking a cup of seawater and then following it up with a cup of soap water and having to keep it in your mouth for a minute straight. Like, no, that was disgusting, but I had to do it for 10 days, I believe, and I stuck to that regimen so well. And that's going to play into something I talk about in a minute. I stuck to the regimen, I did it. So, following day, I'm even more swollen than I was the day before. My face was still numb from about here to here, I believe. And then this is the day where my sutures started to stab me. So I had little sutures in each part of these, and the ones here, and I believe up here were the ones that were stabbing me. And it hurt so bad, like my mouth kept bleeding over and over again. You know, not much changed on that day besides, like, I was still in intense pain, even more swollen, you know the drill. The next day, I was actually a little bit less swollen, but only under here. This part was still really bad. My face was still numb, still in a lot of pain. And this was the time I started to pull a couple of my sutures out, because my surgeon said, oh yeah, the rinses will help loosen them up and they should fall out on their own. They weren't. So I pulled out one of them. I think it was the one up here that I pulled out first, because I could feel it with my tongue. And so I just reached back and just like pulled it. And nothing was bad about it. Like, I didn't bleed, nothing happened. So I think it was so loose, like I could just like give it a little tug and it just came out. So it's not a big deal, but I did that. Don't know if I was supposed to, but it doesn't really matter. And then I believe it was the day after, my 4th day after surgery, that I was supposed to go back to work. That didn't happen. And I believe it was either the 4th or the 5th day that I noticed that I had a giant lump on my cheek. It was on my left side, right here. And also, I don't remember if I said this, but my face was still numb, and I was like, well, this kind of sucks. But I noticed the lump here, and so I just waited for a little bit to see if it would go away on its own, and I believe it was about 2 weeks after my surgery, I went back in for an appointment. It was weird, they didn't ask for a follow-up appointment at all. They were just like, see ya. Good luck on your recovery. But I scheduled an appointment to go in, and I was like, yeah, I have this giant fucking lump on my cheek, like, what is wrong? And I was still swollen, and my face was still numb 2 weeks after surgery. And he was like, oh yeah, that's just an infection. We'll give you some steroids. And I was like, just an infection? It's like this big. What do you mean just an infection? But it's whatever. I don't even understand how I got an infection, because I did this stupid recovery regimen literally as cut and dry as I could do it. I did it, and I still got an infection. And it was on the exact part of my face where it was still numb. And so, my theory is that he messed up this tooth, this wisdom tooth, because that's the one, this bottom part is the only part that caused me problems. So, I'm guessing that this is the part that had the complication. That's just a theory. A tooth theory. So, 5 months later, in like, I don't even know when, like October or something, my face is still numb. So, I go back in for another appointment, and I'm like, yo, is this normal? And he was like, oh yeah, it might take 2 years to completely heal. And I was like, first of all, why? Second of all, why didn't you tell me that in the first place? I think that's some bullshit, but that's just me. So, fast forward to today. My lip is still numb after my surgery. That is one of the main reasons why I think that he messed something up, or somebody messed something up, like with this extraction. So this part of my lip, I can't feel it, like I can't feel myself touching it. And you might notice when I'm talking that this part of my lip is just kind of like up. It didn't used to do that, and I don't do it like voluntarily, like that's just how it is ever since I've gotten my wisdoms taken out. And when I smile, see how it's uneven now? That's because I have to like force it down. Like I can move it, but it doesn't follow the rest of my body, you know? So like when I used to smile, it would be like this. Like normal, but like now it's there. Sometimes I don't notice it at all. Like I've gotten really used to it at this point, but sometimes it, like when your foot falls asleep, it gets that pins and needles, and I actually get it on my gums as well, which are also actually numb, and so are these 3 teeth. They feel different than the rest of my mouth. Not like touch-wise, but like when I touch them, I get a sensation that's different than when I touch the rest of my teeth or my mouth or anywhere in my mouth. So I get that pins and needles feeling, and sometimes it feels puffy. Like after you get a cavity filled, like your mouth feels puffy. It feels like that sometimes. I have no idea what is wrong, and I don't think I'll ever know because I never want to go back to that place where I got surgery again. I went back months after surgery, and all he said was, "It's still healing." I was like, clearly you fucked something up and you just don't want to say, but that's just a theory. So, I know this was a very, very long video, but I wanted to get in as much detail as I could about the situation. But that's the whole story. My face is still numb. Obviously all the pain is gone and all the infection is gone, but it was just a very horrific experience for me. And I know it definitely could have been a lot worse than it was, but it was definitely a completely awful experience. In my situation, like I have those jaw issues, so it's probably good that I did get them out, but I think it's an unnecessary surgery. That's just my opinion, and I feel like if I hadn't got them out, my quality of life would have been a lot better. That's all I'm saying. So again, this video is not meant to scare anyone. This is definitely not a common thing that happens. I just wanted to share my experience with the world, but before this video gets any longer, I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed my story, and if you have any questions about anything that I said, feel free to comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.